What's going on, everyone? ActivesiN here, and today we're going to be talking about a article that's popped up from an opinion piece called "The Fallacy of Being Neutral in Gaming." This comes from Mr. Dreyer on this website ICXM, which seems to be an Xbox-centric website, and essentially it is the embodiment of someone who has been fighting the console war too long. It shows you what can happen to you if you let this console war take over your mind, because a lot of what this guy says seems like very isolated incidents that happen within his little bubble of people that he follows on Twitter or whatever gaming sites he goes to. So let's get into this because it's pretty crazy. We're not gonna read everything because, as you can see here, it's fairly long and a lot of it is nonsensical gibberish. So we'll start. He kind of gives a backstory of the consoles when they launched, and he goes on to say why Xbox has been doing well lately because they launched the One S with the Blu-ray, the 4K Blu-ray player, and media likes that, and that's well, all well and good. Then we get into here. There has been a new phenomenon arising in the gaming community since the tables have turned. That's him referring to the Xbox actually doing well now. It's not far-fetched to think that several gamers would have an affinity for both the PlayStation and the Xbox brand in general, but each of those gamers had a clear preference which they made public, and wouldn't hide behind that fact. However, the new craze amongst these so-called real gamers is to be completely neutral. However, this is a fallacy. Neutral gamers have sprung up since the Xbox One started becoming popular because it seems like they felt that they could not criticize Sony or the PlayStation brand as much as they could to that of the Xbox brand. These gamers have jumped on to grab PlayStations and started attacking anyone who would talk positively about Xbox, because that meant that you were biased. And in their eyes, one shouldn't be biased and approve of all consoles equally. So you can already see here Mr. Dreyer is very upset when people talk bad about Xbox. And I don't know why this bothers people. Xbox did a lot of things bad and people got on them for it, and now Xbox is doing a lot better. Criticizing Xbox is the reason Xbox has gotten to the point where it's at right now. This was further exacerbated when media and gamers alike blocked and banned anyone who had the famous Scorpio badge, which was that M logo on Twitter, in their tag on Twitter, because this was synonymous with the so-called alt-right of the gaming world. I don't really know what he's talking about there. Even though this was only spread around because Xbox gamers were excited over the announcement of Project Scorpio, and he goes on to promote Scorpio for a bit. He says here how gamers like himself made a choice back in 2013 on which platform to play. He chose Xbox because of Forza. He also likes Ratchet and Clank, but they didn't have that on the PS4 at launch, so he went with Xbox, and I guess that's where he made his stand. He also talks about Twitter, how there's been 3-year-long wars from people who have picked sides, and he enjoys the back and forth because it keeps companies on their toes, which is true. When you call out companies for their nonsense, they will fix that nonsense if you get enough people to be loud enough about that. Again, perfect example, Xbox One. And then we get back into some neutral nonsense here. However, the neutral camp have become what I call the gaming equivalent of the so-called social justice warrior. Oh my god. Okay, here we go. Okay. Attacking any criticism of the PlayStation brand since they feel that we as gamers do not have the right to complain publicly and should enjoy whatever the studios and console makers throw at us. This has been pretty clear with the launch of both No Man's Sky and The Last Guardian. I am gonna go ahead and say no, because No Man's Sky is one of the most hated, reviled games in history. It has so many people are angry at this game, and Sean Murray, they ran his ass off Twitter because that lying sack of shit He just essentially lied to everybody, effectively, and that we're handing out refunds left and right because of how bad this game was. Last Guardian, as far as I can tell, people who are playing it seem to like it, but that's a niche game. Nobody cares. Reviews aside, since we all know the reviewers are biased in favor of specific creators and studios and consoles. Oh, Jesus. Let's see what else he talks about here. He goes on to talk about Recore, about how Recore got called out for its problems, and he says that even Recore had its problems. I haven't been able to get past the level because of the stupid antiquated crystal ball requirement, which is true. That is a stupid thing. They should have got rid of that. He mentions stuff about their frame rate, and he says that No Man's Sky, while being a disaster, got glossed over for fear of retaliation from its rabid fan base. Oh my god. Even Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, pointed out to the clear bias in review scores. He did talk about that briefly. That was in reference to some garbage ass website giving Forza Horizon 3 a 4 out of 10 when pretty much everywhere else it was scoring 8 and higher. So it was like a clickbait review. I'm pretty sure that's what Phil was referring to in that sense. And blah, 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 blah. More Xbox promoting. Here's where the fallacy of neutral comes in. Now read this part very carefully. I follow several people that are ardent PC gamers and would swear up and down that it was the best place to play. So again, Mr. Dryer is living in his little bubble, and what he sees from a few people, he considers this to be affecting the entire gaming community. Okay, so it's the best place to play, even though I would disagree, obviously, because you're an Xbox fanboy. And I follow hardened PlayStation fans that have leveled criticism towards them often. But the so-called rise of the neutral has left me flummoxed, as these previously Xbox or PlayStation fans have taken to the banner and have since then constantly leveled criticism towards Xbox fans with the full support of PlayStation community at their horsemen oh my god, and their horsemen behind them. In my opinion, this is not neutral. This is outright fanboyism disguised. These so-called neutrals would level criticism at the entire Xbox fanbase when someone levels any criticism towards them or any game not launching on the Xbox One, calling them shell-shocked and extremists. Again, let us be clear. What he sees in his little bubble on Twitter or whatever, maybe the comment section on this website, this bubble, he considers this to be the whole gaming community, apparently, because he references that he's the people that he follows, and he follows hardcore PlayStation guys for some reason. We all have preferences, and ICXM have been clear that this is a pro-Microsoft site for years, and its writers are pro-Microsoft. Again, nothing wrong with this. I don't have a problem with people being pro-Microsoft. As you guys all know, I prefer Microsoft to Sony, and I prefer Nintendo to Sony as well. Like everybody, well, yeah, I make this very clear. I don't try to pretend to be neutral. I'm not neutral. But a lot of people are neutral, so I don't understand why he considers the idea of being neutral something that can't happen. Again, these people that you're following, Mr. Dryer, I'm not trying to make fun of you. I'm gonna be respectful as much as I can. But the people that you follow, you claim here are PlayStation. What did you call them? PlayStation diehards or something. Hardened PlayStation fans and ardent PC gamers. So you're picking people who are not neutral by nature. You say it here yourself. These are hardened PlayStation fans and former Xbox and PlayStation fans. So I don't understand how you're using these people as references for the entire gaming community. It doesn't make sense to me. You go on to say gaming is about fun. Clearly not, because gaming to you is a war. And it's all about being a fanboy, and if you don't pick a side and you're not repping green or blue, then you are some sort of some sort of fallacy. You don't exist, even though in reality, where most people live, majority of people are neutral gamers. Most people don't care if they're playing on Xbox or PlayStation or PC or Nintendo. They just like playing video games. You say here gaming is about fun. It's supposed to be, and to most people it is, but to you and these other people that attack neutral gamers, I don't think gaming is about fun to you anymore. Maybe it used to be, but somewhere along the way you got too caught up in this consoleware stuff, and now you believe that neutrals don't exist and that you have to choose a side. Yeah, I don't know, man. This website, maybe it has other articles that aren't this insane, but the fact that they allowed this to be on their website kind of shows that maybe it's not the greatest website. I don't know. And some of these comments, like, these are newer ones, but earlier most of them just said comment deleted, comment deleted, comment delete. Here's one, comment removed, comment removed. There's a whole bunch of that. Comment removed, comment removed, comment removed. So there's a lot of censorship going on in here, which is probably just people disagreeing with him. And it's kind of sad to see, like, this is a perfect example of someone who's been just had his world taken over by the console war, and it's kind of sad. Because neutral gamers, again, they do exist, and I believe most people are neutral gamers. People on Twitter and YouTube who talk about games all day, these are hardcore gamers. Generally, a hardcore gaming person would have some sort of preference. I don't consider them neutrals. Most people aren't on Twitter and YouTube every day talking about gaming. That's the vast majority of gamers. They just play games. They don't care where they're playing games. So again, this little bubble that you're in, it doesn't affect the entire gaming community. So I just thought this article was really funny. And yeah, I saw some other guys talking about this. This was brought up, I think from Wingy. Yeah, I saw it on Wingy Gaming, and I forgot her name, Erica for the win or something like that. That was a good video too. And Wingy, he's a neutral gamer. Like, he just plays everything, and as far as I can tell, the Erica girl, she plays everything too. So these people do exist. Being a being a neutral gamer is not a fallacy. So yeah, that's about it. Let me know what you guys think about this. Do you guys think that neutral gamers, they don't exist? Is it a fallacy, or do they exist? And some people just like playing video games. But that's about it. This was just really funny. So yeah, this fucking article's so stupid. But I will talk to you next time. Bye.
I hate these filthy neutrals, Kiff. With enemies, you know where they stand, but with neutrals, who knows? It sickens me.